2013. godine The Stanley Parable je izašao na tržište i svi koji su probali ovo zaigrat bili su kao čekaj malo, šta se ovdje događa? Je li ovo uopće igra? Kroz šta sam ja to sad prošao? I svi su bili zbunjeni, ali podjednako impresionirani, podjednako nasmijani, jer igra je duhovita, igra je čudna, igra je drugačija, igra kritizira neke stvari u našem društvu, oko kapitalizma, oko biznisa, oko igara, cijelog tog svijeta, reviewsa i izlaska igre i takvih stvari. Recenzija na kraju krajeva. I zato je naša recenzija 2013. koju je pisao naš Zoki dala igri 0. Nulicu, to je najniža ocjena na HCL-u, ali ne zato što je igra loša, nego zato što je posebna. I rekao sam si tada, kad sam vidio da je Zoki odlučio dati igri 0, da pokaže neki point i opiše tu igru na vrlo čudan način u toj recenziji, morate to pročitati, tad sam si rekao ja ću ovo jednom odigrat. Iako ja sam tad imao drugog posla i nikad nisam stigao odigrat, ali upravo je izašao The Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe, najnovija verzija The Stanley Parable, legendarne igre koja je sve samo ne obična. I ja rekao ajmo sad to kupi, 20 eura dao za ovo na Steamu, idemo na Begin the Game po 3. put za mene, iako prva 2 puta sam samo malo testirao ako sve radi, prošao par stvari, ali ovo je sad idemo to probat odigrat. Ima nekoliko krajeva, igra nikad nije gotova. Ovdje nema kontinua, nema save-ova, čudno je, ali pogledajte kako počinje. Zapravo nisam siguran kako će sad počet. Piše, the end is never the end.
This is the story of a man named Stanley.
Ok, slušajte ovo.
Stanley worked for a company in a big building where he was employee number 427. Employee number 427's job was simple. He sat at his desk in room 427 and he pushed buttons on a keyboard. Orders came to him through a monitor on his desk, telling him what buttons to push, how long to push them, and in what order. This is what employee 427 did every day of every month of every year. And although others might have considered it soul-rending, Stanley relished every moment that the orders came in, as though he had been made exactly for this job. And Stanley was happy. And then one day, something very peculiar happened. Something that would forever change Stanley. Something he would never quite forget. He had been at his desk for nearly an hour when he realized that not one single order had arrived on the monitor for him to follow. No one had showed up to give him instructions, call a meeting, or even say hi. Never in all his years at the company had this happened, this complete isolation. Something was very clearly wrong. Shocked, frozen solid, Stanley found himself unable to move for the longest time. But as he came to his wits and regained his senses, he got up from his desk and stepped out of his office.
Ok, ja bi sad trebao izaći van iz ureda, ali fora je u ovoj igri to što će se narator stalno javljat i govorit vam kamo je Stanley otišao, što vama nekako implicira da trebate tamo otići, ali možete izabrat drugu rutu. Tako da ja bi teoretski, to mi je sad po prvi put sinulo, mogao ostati u ovom uredu neko vrijeme i vidiš šta će se dogoditi. Znaš, igra je puna takvih eksperimentalnih triggera gdje testiraš njene limite i vidiš šta će se dogoditi ako ne izađem iz ureda. I ovo, izašao sam, ja sam se vratio i klikćem po stvarima i pokupio, ok, ajmo van, ajmo pratit priču i vidjeti šta će se dogoditi.
What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers.
Mogu gasiti komp, ok. Uglavnom nema mojih coworkera, mojih kolega ovdje na poslu. Svako ima zanimljive neke šalice, kompjutere. Mogu paliti ovaj komp? Ne mogu. Možda piše nešto zanimljivo. Ništa, idemo dalje. Mijenja se igra svaki put. Ovo sam već vidio, znači ovaj dio sam prošao. I ne znam ako su svi ovi detalji isti. Uglavnom, kroz prozore ne možete ništa vidjeti, tako da ko zna u kakvoj smo zgradi uopće, ali dobro. I ovdje kroz ove interne prozore. Vidi 420, ej. 420 možda ima i negdje 69, a? Ko zna da li su išli na takve glupe primitivne fore. 4B6 je tamo. Ne znam je li to od kakvog značaja. Ovdje sam već vidio ljestve koje vode do gore. Djeluje kao da se neko išao popest gore. Popeo se gore, jel? Ok, ovdje nema ničega. Moramo naći taj meeting room. I sad ćemo biti, evo ga. Sad ćemo imati izbor.
Stanley came to a set of two open doors. He entered the door on his left.
To vam je taj primjer. I nemam puno više takvih primjera. Stvarno nisam igrao. Ali narator ti kaže odi lijevo. On je otišao lijevo. Ne kaže ti direktno odi lijevo, nego kao Stanley je išao lijevo. I šta ako ja odem desno? Zapravo, svaki put kad sam probao ovo, a to je bilo doslovno 2 puta, išao sam lijevo, pratio sam šta mi govori. Idem probati desno.
This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
To je. Ja moram probati otvoriti svaka vrata. Nijedno vrata se ne daju otvoriti do sad. I neki od ovih ureda su jako čudni. Znači, ne može onaj industrijski hodnik iza biti povezan direktno s ovako lijepim uredom sa tepihom. I ko je prolio kavu dole, znači, šta se događa? Posvuda su whiteboardovi sa išaranim nekim stvarima i developeri su pazili na svaki od tih detalja, da pišu neke logične korporativne stvari, koje su ujedno satirične i tako dalje. A vidi, to je lounge.
Yes, truly a room worth admiring.
Prekrasno.
Worth the detour after all, just to spend a few moments here in this immaculate, beautifully constructed room. Stanley simply stood here, drinking it all in.
Aha, sad ja trebao jednostavno stajati ovdje i upijati prekrasnoću ove prostorije koja iz nikakvog razloga ima ovdje stepenicu. Kakvi monstrum je.
Yes, really worth it being here in the room.
Okay.
A room so utterly captivating that even though all your co-workers have mysteriously vanished, here you sit looking at these chairs and some paintings. Really worth it.
Počeli smo biti drski i sarkastični. Dobro, idemo van.
To get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
Aha, sad on želi da idemo ovdje i mogao bi se možda vratiti na pravu rutu sada. Ali ajmo ravno, a? Ćemo ići ravno? Ćemo ga ignorirati, ali zanima me sad šta je ovdje. Ne znam, hoće li se vrata za mnom zatvoriti. Okej, ajmo probati. A ne!
Through the maintenance section, walked straight ahead to the opposite door and got back on track.
Ipak imam novu opciju. Vidi ovu situaciju. Ja bi trebao ići ravno ovdje i tamo je meeting room. Znam po onoj stolici jer sam inače išao lijevo. Znači, ovdje od ovuda dođeš ako odeš na ona lijeva vrata kao što sam trebao. Ali ne, ajmo probat ovo. Šta je ta tipka di ja idem? Okej. Inače, igra ima brdo endinga, tako da ju treba igrati više puta. Šta je sad? Loada se.
But Stanley didn't want to go back to the office. He wanted to wander about and get even further off track. So now in order to get back, he needed to go,
Malo sam ga zbunio, okej.
It's, left.
Left? Okej, alright, ništa. Mogu ovo? Ne mogu. Treba vidjeti, znaš, šta se još tu može napraviti. Očekujem da ima brdo nekakvih easter eggova.
No, it's to the right, my mistake.
Okej. Kažem,
No, not the right. Why would I have ever said it was to the right? What was I thinking? It's clearly... Oh dear, would you hold on for a minute, please?
Okej, ćemo ipak nazad.
Let's see, we went down, right, left, down, left, right. Yep, okay, yes. I've got it now. This story is absolutely, definitely this way.
Čio kombi, šta je? Okej. Aha, ima ovdje prolaz. Mogu paliti auto ili nešto, a? Ništa toga. Okej. Ovo ne djeluje sigurno, ali okej, idemo sve dublje i dublje, dolje i dolje. What? Šta je ovo prosto?
No. This isn't right at all. You're not supposed to be here yet. This is all a spoiler. Quick, Stanley, close your eyes. Okay. We just have to get back to, who am I kidding? It's all rubbish now. The whole story completely unusable. How about, rather than waste my time trying to salvage this nonsense, we'll just restart the game from the beginning. And this time, suppose we don't wander so far off track, Okay, from the top.
Čekaj, ozbiljno, nema mi sad resetirati sve. Vidi ovo. Okej, ovo mi se do sad nije dogodilo. Mislim, kažem, nisam baš ni igrao puno, ali... Okej, znači, krećemo iz početka, hoće sad biti nešto drugačije? Hoće on opet govoriti? Da, iste stvari govori.
Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Evo ga.
Wait.
Vrata su zatvorena, došao sam u istu prostoriju. Ima ih više.
I swear, I definitely restarted the game over, completely fresh. Everything should be... Oh, did something change? Stanley, did you change anything when we were back in that room with all the monitors? Did you move the story somewhere or... Hold on. Why am I asking you? I'm the one who wrote the story. It was right here just a minute ago. I know for sure that it's here somewhere. Okay, then. It's an adventure.
Oh.
Come, Stanley. Let's find the story.
Ajmo naći priču, šta se događa? Ja mislim da su ova vrata baš zanimljiva. Ova ovdje. Tamo je biljčica, tamo je nešto, neka stolica. Znaš šta je, idem... Ili možda idem ovim vratima, to su ona originalna kroz koja sam trebao... Idem ovima, realno. I onda ovima. Šta? Šta? Okej, mislim da... ne, sve je drugačije. Činilo mi se kao da znam di idem i onda sam skužio, ne, definitivno ne znam di idem.
I'll say it. This is the worst adventure I've ever been on. I can promise you there definitely was a story here before. Do we need to restart the game again?
Nemoj
Well, I find it unlikely that we'll ever progress by starting over and over again.
Evo, našao sam
But it's
nešto.
got to be better than this.
Našao sam nešto
Okay,
stanje.
let's give it a shot. Why not?
Šta si opet resetirao? Našao sam bio neki put, nešto sam našao. Evo ga, na. Okej, ajmo provat opet.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Znači, sada idemo na lijeva vrata, ne želim ovu torturu više prolaziti. Okej, nema vrata.
Okay, yep, it's worse. I might be remembering this wrong. It's possible the story is back where we just came from.
Šta, vratim
Why
se
don't
nazad?
we go back the other direction and see if we missed anything?
Pa zatvorene su vrata, ćeš otvoriti? Bravo. Ajmo vidjeti smo šta fulali ovdje. Ova vrata ništa. Ova vrata ništa. Dobar dan, ova vrata. 406, ništa, 416. Je ovo bilo prije razliveno? I hate Mondays. 417, ovdje nema ničega, ovo je sve isto. A gdje da se vrati? Čekaj, je li ovdje moj ured trebao biti? Aha!
I knew we'd miss something.
Pa tu je moj ured.
The story. Here it comes.
Okej, našli smo priču, čini se. What? Se vrtimo u
No,
krug.
wait, never mind.
What?
Not the story. Okay, let's head back the other way and retrace our steps.
Daj, šta se događa, stari, mozak mi kaša. Ne znam šta se... Okej. Ovdje... da, sve je opet drugačije, bravo. Okej. Ovo sad izgleda ko Half-Life ili nešto, Head Krebović mi skoči na glavu.
Well, I'll be honest, I don't recognize this place at all. Is this the story? I don't think so. I can't quite recall, but I believe my story took place in an office building. Is that correct? Do you remember, Stanley?
Zašto me pitaš,
Well, you
ničeg
know
se ja
what?
ne sjećam.
Since I've completely forgotten what we were supposed to be doing, how about this? You win! Congratulations!
Je, prešli smo igru, ljudi, to je
I
to.
know you put in a lot of hard work, and it really paid off, so good job.
Hvala, stari. Puno mi znači, stvarno. Ćeš otvoriti ova vrata?
No, I don't feel right about this at all. We both know you didn't put in any actual work for that win. Some people win fair and square, and this was not one of those situations. Okay, I'm getting weirded out by whatever this place is. I don't care what might happen this time, I have
Jel
to
opet
restart.
resetiramo? Okej, ja stvarno ne znam kojim putem da idem da imamo crtu sada. Je ovdje šta drugačije, 427, to je moj broj definitivno, toga se sjećam, kompjuter i dalje ne radi, ne mogu ništa na njemu tipkat. Telefon, nazvat pomoć, policija.
All right, I've got a solution. This time, to make sure we don't get lost, I've employed the help of the Stanley Parable Adventure Line.
Okej,
Just follow the line.
Ovdje?
How simple is that?
stvarno ovdje, nećemo ići tamo. Ajde samo da vidim šta je, nemoj mi se zatvoriti, zatvorit će se vrat, ne, idem pratit liniju ovaj put. Ovaj put pratimo liniju jednostavno i vidjet ćemo šta će biti. Htio sam otići tamo do meeting rooma, da vidimo jel ona soba ima sad vrata, lijeva i desna.
The line knows where the story is. It's over in this direction.
Okay.
Onward, Stanley, to destiny.
Idemo do naše sudbine.
Here's a thought.
What?
Wouldn't wherever we end up be our destination, even if there's no story there? Or to put it another way, is the story of no destination still a story? Simply by the act of moving forward, are we implying a journey such that a destination is inevitably conjured into being via the very manifestation of the nature of life itself? Okay, Stanley, I need to follow this train of thought for a minute. Just stick with me. Now, we can both agree that the nature of existence is in fact a byproduct of one's subjective experience of that existence, right? Okay. Now, if my experience of your existence rests inside of your subjective experience of this office, is this office in fact the skeleton of my own relative experiential mental subjective construct? Whoa. Hang on. That got a bit weird back there.
Yep.
Well, I'd like to apologize. Not sure where I was going with all that. You know what? I think what we need right now is a bit of music to lighten the mood.
Svaka čast, može glazba, ja ne razumijem ove tvoje filozofske priče. Ovo je prevlasno. A da, čekaj, je li ovo licencirana muzika? Šta se ovdje događa? Miče sve žarulja, odlično. I trebam ići unutra. Zašto ne bi išao ovdje, na primjer? Ne mogu otvoriti, glazba je preglasna. Moram stišati sluške. Sad kad se narator i vrati, neću znati šta se događa. Ok, pratimo i dalje ovo. Neću ga čuti, hoću reći, jer sam previše stišao to sve. Šta piše? Employee 432, peer reviews. Ja sam 427. Ja želim vidjeti personnel files. Želim vidjeti svoj personnel file. Budget analysis. Možda smo došli u neki dio zgrade gdje ću moći saznati nešto o sebi kao Stanley, i šta misli korporacija o meni i takve neke stvari.
Cut the music. Go back and look at that fern.
Fern? Ovo?
Stanley, this fern will be very important later in the story.
Zašto?
Make sure you study it closely and remember it carefully. You won't want to miss anything.
Ovo je isto neki test, ako se maknem prebrzo on će reći da nisam dovoljno dugo gledao Fern, ne znam ni prevest to. Ali ok, Between Two Ferns, jeste gledali to, evo ovo vam je jedna takva. Dobro, uglavnom idem ča, pogledao sam je dosta, mada će on sad to kritizirati i reći ne, nisi se potrudio.
We're back at the office?
What?
No. Line, you do know we're looking for the Stanley Parable, right? The story? Is any of this ringing a bell?
Daj, ajde, on to sad priča sa žutom linijom koja nam pokazuje put, ona je sad kao lik u igri odjedanput. Super mi je ovaj writing ne, ovdje sam već bio. Moram ići opet, čini se.
Oh, no, not again, Line. How could you have done this to us? And after we trusted you, after everything we've been through...
Gdje je 427?
I can't take this anymore, to hell with it.
Gdje je 427? Taman kad sam ga pogledao je... Opet resetiralo je. Opet se resetiralo. Ok, pratimo liniju. Ovaj put... šta je sad?
I say forget the adventure line. What's it ever done for us? We're intelligent people, right? Why can't we make up our own story? Something exciting, daring, mysterious. Ooh, this all sounds perfectly doable. Why don't we simply start wandering in, well, I don't know. How about this direction?
Tako je, ovo djeluje dobro, osim... Zaključeno. Ok, vratim se nazad, ostane tu, sjednem i ne slušam više luđaka naratora. Ne, ajde, idemo gdje on želi. Malo baciti oko svejedno na druge eventualne rute, ako takve uopće postoje.
Now, yes, this is exciting. Just me and Stanley forging a new path, a new story. Well, it could be anything. What do you want our story to be? Go wild. Use your imagination.
Ja sam tajni agent i pljačkam u banku.
I'm ready for it.
Ali ja sam undercover. Ja sam u Fast and Furious, šta?
No, not you again. Stanley, I'd also like to veto the line from having any role in our awesome new story.
Okay,
no lines or monitor rooms. Just don't acknowledge it, and we should be fine.
Ok, ne pratimo više liniju, osim ako ne napravim suprotno od onog što narator želi. Ko kaže da mi je narator prijatelj, vidi, linija probila strope. Genijalno. Jel primjećujete kako je dobar writing, by the way? Kako su pametni ljudi ovo pisali, koji razumiju i...
a choice. We get to make a decision. From here, the story is in our control. How important we mustn't squander the opportunity. In fact, I believe I need a minute to think here. Just walk in circles for a minute. Okay. So I know that each door has to lead somewhere, which means that somewhere, the place where we're trying to go, there must be a reverse door that leads here.
Jasno,
and that in turn means that our destination corresponds with the counter-inverted reverse door's origin. So starting from the right, let us ask, will taking the right door lead us to where we're going? And since the answer is clearly yes, then by all accounts, the door on the right is the correct one. Another victory for logic.
Vrlo logično, otvori desna vrata, molim te. Ili će otvoriti oba. Će otvoriti oba? Ne, samo... Čekaj, dim. Ok, ajmo vidjeti. The confusion ending. Find the confusion ending. Aha, ovo je... You've been playing the confusion ending for 17 minutes.
Confusion ending? You're telling me that's what this is? It's all one giant ending? And we're supposed to restart the game, what, eight times?
The game restarts
That's really how all this goes? It's all determined?
Je ovo
So
sad,
now,
ono,
according to the schedule,
determinizam,
I
spika
restart
neka,
again. Then what? Am I just supposed to forget? Well, what if I don't want to forget? My mind goes blank simply because it's written here on this thing, wall. Well, who consulted me?
Stanley dies.
Why don't I get to decide? Why
Nakon
don't
8.
I get a
restarta.
say in all of this? Is it really? No, it can't be. I don't want it to be. I don't want the game to keep restarting. I don't want to forget what's going on. I don't want to be trapped like this. I won't restart the game. I won't do it. I won't do it. I won't do it.
Stari, resetiraj tu igru, idemo 8.
And the timer stopped?
Opa.
Does that mean, did we do it? Did we break the cycle?
Oh.
The, whatever it is that made this schedule? How would we even know? Will someone come for us? Will something happen?
A preostaje nam samo čekat, vajda.
So, okay.
Otvorit vrata možda? Stolac?
I guess now we just wait. You know, I suppose in some way that this is a kind of story, wouldn't you agree?
Je, ovo je neka
I'm
vrsta
not quite
priče,
sure
da?
if we're in the destination or the journey, though they're always saying that life is about the journey and not the destination. So I hope that's where we are right now. We'll find out, won't we? Eventually. Well, in the meantime, if you...
Šta? Samo se resetiralo usred njegove rečenice, aj to nisam očekivao. Da vas ne zbunim dodatno, ja ovdje neću ništa editirat puno, neću raditi neke brze katove. Koliko je sati, vidiš, nisam išao za time. Nisam išao za satom prije. Pa mi sad, ništa ne vrijedi ni pogledat sat.
all of his co-workers were
Evo ga,
gone,
ponavlja se
what
opet
could
ova
it mean?
rečenica.
Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Šta je ovdje? Je ovaj monitor bio prije upaljen, ovo sve djeluje isto, 4B6. Mislim da je ovo isto, ali nisam siguran više u ništa. Awaiting input. Input received. Ok. Šta ovdje piše? Ok. Djeluje sve normalno, kao da se igra potpuno normalno resetirala. Piše...
When Stanley came to a set
pisalo je
of
da ću
two
ja
open
umrijet nakon
doors,
8.
he entered the
restarta.
door on his left.
Ćemo ići on the left, ćemo probati ići normalnom rutom. Confusion ending, a? Ok, ovo je meeting room, dame i
Yet
gospodo.
there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
Kaže, how to solve a dispute with a coworker. Let it ball up inside you. Resent coworkers for not supporting you more. Take it out. Ok. Imamo razne pie chartove ovdje. Stock market, things, money, more money, things. Shift, global market paradigms, vjerojatno monetize, free to play, synergize, score values, expenditures, korporativna spikica. Idemo. Broom closet? Oh, ok.
Stanley stepped into the broom closet, but there was nothing here, so he turned around and got back on track.
Narator malo prestaje gubiti strpljenje, prestaje imati strpljenje za mene i moje
There was nothing
istraživanje.
here. No choice to make, no path to follow, just an empty broom
Gledam,
closet.
će se šta dogoditi ako
No reason
otvorim,
to still
pa
be
zatvorim.
here.
Nema ničega. Ali nek smo mi to testirali. Ok. Aha, da, moram ići dole
Coming
ili
to a
gore.
staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's
On želi da
office.
idem gore, ali ja ću ići dole. Da vidimo šta će biti. Tu je neki papirček. Nema šanse, ne mogu ovo pročitati. Je ovo crtež nekakav na kraju? Djeluje kao da mačka vozi motor. O, garažica.
But Stanley just couldn't do it. He considered the possibility of facing his boss, admitting he had left his post during work hours. He might be fired for that.
Ovdje je neko
And in
pokupio
such a
stvari sa svog
competitive
stola.
economy, why had he taken that risk? All because he believed everyone had vanished? His boss would think he was crazy. And then something occurred to Stanley. Maybe, he thought to himself, maybe I am crazy. All of my co-workers blinking mysteriously out of existence in a single
Se ja
moment
vrtim u krug.
for no reason at all.
Ja se vrtim
None
u
of it
krug.
made any logical sense.
A daj.
And as Stanley pondered this, he began to make other strange observations. For example, why couldn't he see his feet when he looked down? Why did doors close automatically behind him wherever he
No,
went?
jesu, da, čudne,
And for that
čudne
matter,
stvari.
these rooms were starting to look pretty familiar. Were they simply repeating? No, Stanley said to himself, this is all too strange. This can't be real. and at last he came to the conclusion that had been on the tip of his tongue. He just hadn't found the words for it. "I'm dreaming!" he yelled.
To je.
"This is all a dream." Oh, what a relief Stanley felt to have finally found an answer, an explanation. His co-workers weren't actually gone. He wasn't going to lose his job. He wasn't crazy after all.
Olakšanje.
He thought to
Olakšanje
himself,
ogromno.
I suppose I'll wake up soon. I'll have to go back to my boring real-life job pushing buttons. I may as well enjoy this while I'm still lucid. So, he imagined himself flying and began to gently float above
What?
the ground.
Ozbiljno?
Then he imagined himself soaring through space on a magical starfield, and it too appeared.
Oh.
It was so much fun, and Stanley marveled that he had still not woken up. How was he remaining so
Znači,
lucid?
definitivno je san.
And then perhaps the strangest question of them all entered Stanley's head. One he was amazed he hadn't asked himself sooner. Why is there a voice in my head dictating everything that I'm doing
Da,
and
taj
thinking?
dio je čudan, da.
Now the voice was describing itself being considered by Stanley, who found it particularly
Da, to je
strange.
čak jako
I'm
čudno, da.
dreaming about a voice describing me, thinking about how it's describing my thoughts, he thought. And while he thought it all very odd and wondered if this voice spoke to all people in their dreams, the truth was that, of course, this was not a dream. How could it be? Was Stanley simply deceiving himself, believing that if he's asleep, he doesn't have to take responsibility for himself? Stanley is as awake right now as he's ever been in his life.
Aha, okej, nije san.
Now, hearing the voice
Ali
speak
kako
these
se
words
maknuti?
was
Aha,
quite
opet
shocked to
drugačije, jel
Stanley.
drugačije nije?
After all, he knew for certain, beyond a doubt, that this was in fact a dream. Did the voice not see him float and make the magical stars just a moment ago? How else would the voice explain all that? This voice was a part of himself too. Surely, if he could just... He would prove it. He would prove that he was in control, that this was a dream. So he closed his eyes gently, and he invited himself to wake up. He felt the cool weight of the blanket on his skin, the press of the mattress on his back, the fresh air of a world outside this
Dalje
one.
se mogu kretat.
Let me wake up, he thought to himself. I'm through with this dream. I wish it to be over. Let me go back to my job. Let me continue pushing the buttons. Please, it's all I want. I want my apartment, and my wife, and my job. All I want is my life exactly the way it's always been. My life is normal. I am normal. Everything will be fine. I am okay.
Nope, Stanley, sorry, ali da, i dalje si u lupu i neki luđak
Stanley
komentira.
began screaming.
Da.
Please, someone, wake me up. My name is Stanley. I have a boss. I have an office. I am real. Please, just someone tell me I am real. I must be real. I must be. Can anyone hear my voice? Who am I? Who am I? And everything went black.
Black? Hoće se igra resetirat opet,
This is the story of a woman named Mariella.
What? Mariella? Novi lik?
Mariella woke up on a day like any other. She arose, got dressed, gathered her belongings, and walked to her place of work. But on this particular day, her walk
It
was
was
interrupted by the body of a man who had stumbled through town talking and screaming to himself, and then collapsed dead on the sidewalk. And although she would soon turn to go call for an ambulance, for just a few brief moments she considered the strange man. He was obviously crazy. This much she knew. Everyone knows what crazy people look like. And in that moment, she thought to herself how lucky she was to be normal. I am sane. I am in control of my mind. I know what is real and what isn't. It was comforting to think this, and in a certain way, seeing this man made her feel better. But then she remembered the meeting she had scheduled for that day, the very important people whose impressions of her would affect her career, and by extension, the rest of her life. She had no time for this, so it was only a moment that she stood there, staring down at the body. And then she turned and ran.
A šta drugo, Mariela? To je život. Tako to moraš. A da, je resetiralo se. Stvarno? Hoće narator sad nešto drugo reći nakon što smo proživjeli smrt zajedno?
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean?
Ozbiljno?
Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Ok, igro. Ajmo probati još malo. Ajmo vidjeti što će se dogoditi. Sad sam zaintrigiran. Kako pametan writing. Jednostavno, razmišljanje izvan svih okvira, onako nekakve staromodne, linearne, nekog tipičnog narativa. Hrabra igra, ono, za 2013. pogotovo. Danas mislim da smo još zreliji za to, da je publika još zrelija, tako da super da su odlučili napraviti ovaj Ultra Deluxe Edition sada, ali 2013. još bolje, još mi draže da su to tad izbacili. I da su uspjeli s time, da su ljudi bili kao, kužimo ovo i drago nam je da postoji i kupit ćemo to. Evo ga.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door and this was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
Ne, baš mi briga za employee lounge, idem ča. Neću ni čekat ovdje kao što si mi rekao, bježim ča.
But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his
Nema
left.
door on the left, ovaj put idem ravno je. Da vidim šta je ovdje uopće.
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
Okej. Gore, izolacija nekakva. Šta je ovo mjesto uopće? Šta mi radimo u ovoj tvornici, u ovoj zgradi? Mislim, znamo da šta Stanley radi. Kako su stavili baš na ljestve jednu šalicu. Stanley samo stišće ono što mu piše na ekranu. Najdosadniji, redundantniji posao na svijetu. Šta ko padne dole?
I'm not your enemy, really. But in his eagerness to prove that he is in control of the story and no one gets to tell him what to do, Stanley leapt from the platform and plunged to his death.
Okay.
Good job, Stanley. Everyone thinks you are very powerful.
Everyone thinks you're very powerful, eh? Ne smart, nego powerful. Kako dobar izbor riječi je. Znaš šta, moram stati u jednom trenutku, jel da? Ova igra može trajati zauvijek i svaki put u loadingu piše the end is never ili tako nešto. A genijalno, stvarno je. Baš gušt igra za onako nedjelja popodne, malo mislit, malo razmišljati o filozofiji, metafizika, život. Znaš, takve stvari, korporacije, poslovi. Kapitalizam, želja za novcem, trčanje prema naprijed i uspoređivanje s drugima u društvu i znaš, te stvari. Kroz takve teme prolazi igra na tako neki drugačiji način nego što biste očekivali. Kako pametni ljudi su radili ovo, ne možeš vjerovati. Dobro, uglavnom, to je to, moram negdje stati s videom, tako da The Stanley Parable neće od ovoga biti serijal jer igra nema save pointove, znači imaš resume the game, imaš begin the game again, imaš settings i to je to. I by the way, svaki put kad uđeš u igru, igra te pita koliko je sati. I 2 puta sam ulazio i 2 puta sam napisao koliko je sati. Doslovno sam bio kao, ok, reći ti koliko je sati, ko da je bitno, ko zna, možda je važno nekako za igru, nisam znao. I uopće nije važno, koliko mi se čini, možda ovaj sat se prilagodi tome, ne znam. Ali onda treći put kad sam ulazio mi je igra rekla, znaš šta, već si par puta rekao točno koliko je sati i moram ti čestitati. Malo igrača to radi. I onako piše ti tekst posred ekrana i vrti se u krug i bio sam kao, daj, ajde, kako zanimljivo. I onda je rekla igra, sljedeći put kad uđeš u igru, napiši koje god vrijeme hoćeš, svoj najdraži sat, znaš, kao, najdraže vrijeme. Ja sam bio kao, aj dobro, ona igra jedino ne voli kad piše 12:00, jer to je defaultno vrijeme i ljudi često samo stave 12:00 da to preskoče. I tako, i to je zanimljivo, neću sad uljeti o tome više, ajde, malo sam i previše, ali nije li igra interesantna, što mislite o njoj, ne znam, evo, ali možete i vi isprobati, iako opet ćete vidjeti iste stvari koje sam ja ovdje prošao, ali možete naći još hrpu novih endinga, plus ovaj Ultra Deluxe Edition navodno ima brdo novog sadržaja za istražiti, tako da ako dosad niste igrali The Stanley Parable, ovaj video vam nije puno spojlao, ima tu još brdo mesa, barem mislim. Otprilike. Hvala na gledanju, javite kako vam se čini ovo, jeste igrali to prije, jeste igrali sada po prvi put, gledali negdje drugdje, što mislite o igri općenito, ajmo pričati o The Stanley Parable u komentarima. A naša recenzija iz 2013. godine, ona u kojoj smo igri dali 0, linka ću vam je ispod pa bacite oko jer podjednako je čudnovata, kao i sama igra, otprilike, tu negdje. Igra je malo čudnija, ok. Vidimo se, čao.